Died after a crash on Saturday that authorities say could be alcohol related. The latest victim, a 10-year-old boy. Good evening, I'm Calvin Sneed.
And I'm Latricia Thomas. The other victims, his 5-year-old brother and their mother's fiance. News Channel 9's Alana LaFleur shows us what we've learned today about the crash. Alana.
Calvin, Latricia, it happened on Highway 136 in Walker County. GSP says the driver went off the road and hit a tree. And troopers say the little boy who died this morning was the only passenger wearing a seatbelt.
Driving down Highway 136 Monday, you wouldn't know anything out of the ordinary happened just 2 days earlier. Today, a man and 2 children are both dead after this crash.
It's kind of heart-wrenching. I mean, I've been doing this a long time, and a child still has an effect on me.
When emergency crews arrived, troopers said Christopher Rouse was already dead after being thrown from the van. 5-year-old Blake and 10-year-old Brandon Hunt were trapped inside. A bystander broke into the van through a window, trying to help them.
You know, my adrenaline was pumping, and I was just doing what I could do to help the situation.
Jonathan Woodard couldn't get the boys out and instead waited inside the crushed van with them.
I tried everything I could.
Georgia State Patrol says Blake Hunt was in the back without a seatbelt and without a car seat or booster seat. Georgia law requires children under 8 to be at least in a booster seat. When first responders got Blake out, troopers say he was already dead. Brandon was rushed to the hospital. As troopers investigated the scene, they say they found a cooler of beer in the van, along with open beer cans.
There was alcohol in the vehicle. Now, as far as whether the driver was intoxicated or not, well, we drew blood, and that's still pending.
The crash report says alcohol use is suspected. GSP says it will take months to get those toxicology results back because of a backed-up crime lab in Atlanta. But in the meantime, the Lafayette community deals with the losses.
They say not to get emotionally involved, but I'm a father, and it's hard to separate yourself when a child's involved.
Wednesday, when Walker County students return back to class, a team of counselors will be sent to Naomi Elementary. That's where Blake and Brandon Hunt went to school. Calvin.
Thanks, Alana. A friend of Christopher Rolls tells us his memorial services will be on Wednesday at the Henderson Funeral Home in Armurchie, Georgia from 5 to 7 p.m.
The Hunt brothers were from Tellico Plains. A relative says their funerals will happen there. Naomi Elementary is planning their own memorial service on a later date.